Let's dive right into this explainer and see how a hyperfocused list of just 12 words can completely level up your communication. Welcome back, everyone. Today we're tackling Lesson 17 from that absolute classic Vocabulary Builder 504 Absolutely Essential Words. You know, if you've ever felt like your vocabulary has kind of flatlined, or you're always searching for that perfect, precise word to express yourself, well, you're in the right place. We're not just staring at definitions on a page today. We're treating these words like everyday tools you can immediately use to make your speech sharper and a whole lot more vivid. Now, you might be thinking, how on earth are 12 words going to change my world? Well, instead of that dry, rote memorization we all hated in school, we're actually going to use cognitive chunking and active recall. This makes these new words an unforgettable part of your active vocabulary. We're not doing some massive, overwhelming list here. By taking exactly 12 carefully curated words, we can break them down, see them in action, and anchor them in your brain. That way, they're actually there for you the next time you're in a conversation or giving a presentation. So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with essential words, part 1, move into part 2, test your vocabulary knowledge, and then wrap things up with a spotlight on the word keg. All right, let's jump right into essential words. Part 1, mastering the first 6 words. Okay, here's our very first chunk. Take a quick scan of these 6. Now, I want to specifically highlight number 1, appeal. Just a quick heads up, if you happen to be listening to any of the supplemental audio guides out there for this book, you might actually catch a slight transliteration error where the speaker mistakenly pronounces this as appear. But we're focusing strictly on the correct word here, appeal, ending with an L. Let's zoom in on what it actually means. What's really cool about the precise definition of appeal is that it goes way beyond just physical looks. It's about genuine attraction, interest, or making a strong request. It's super versatile because it works as both a noun and a verb. You can have an appeal, meaning an attraction, or you can appeal to someone, which means you're strongly urging them to do something. Let's look at a really practical context straight from the source material. Anything Jorge could get at wholesale price had a great appeal for him. I mean, you can picture this perfectly, right? It's got nothing to do with physical beauty. It's about this deep, driving interest in scoring a good bargain. And honestly, that is exactly how you lock a word into your brain. You connect it to a relatable, real-world scenario. Moving on to our next big word in this chunk, wary. This is an absolutely vital term for expressing caution. Being wary means you are literally on your guard against danger or trickery. It's that exact gut feeling you get when a deal sounds just a little too good to be true, or you're walking down a dark, unfamiliar street at night. When you drop wary into a specific sentence, like one about a polluted city, it becomes this living, memorable concept. Check this out. Living in a polluted city makes you wary of the air you breathe. You're not just scared, you are actively cautious, constantly on your guard about the environment around you. It's just a fantastic, nuanced word that really elevates how you describe things. Okay, moving right along to Essential Words Part 2, conquering the final 6 words. Now that we've got that strong foundation, let's keep the momentum going with the second half of our list. This chunk introduces some incredibly emotive, almost physical words that will add so much flavor to your English. I mean, words like wretched, keg, and nourish. They carry such strong visual and emotional weight. Let's break down a couple of the heavy hitters from this group. Take a look at wretched. This is a word that carries some serious descriptive weight for anything highly unsatisfactory or just outright miserable. Saying something is bad is one thing, right? But when you say it's wretched, you are painting a picture of total despair and discomfort. It's intense. And we can all relate to this sample sentence. I feel wretched after a night when I've scarcely slept. You instantly know that heavy, brain-fogged, miserable feeling, don't you? By attaching wretched to that universal experience of a terrible night's sleep, the textbook basically guarantees you're never going to forget how to use it. Next up is nourish, which is super fascinating because, sure, it applies to physically feeding the body, making or keeping something alive and well with food, but I absolutely love that the book explicitly points out that you can also nourish an attitude or an idea. You know, you can nourish a hope or nourish a new friendship. The book gives us this incredibly clear, literal example. A diet of nourishing food is served to every hospital patient. This perfectly demonstrates the standard application, right? Hospitals provide nourishing food to physically heal the body. Once you've got that foundational use down, you can confidently start talking about nourishing your mind with great books, or maybe nourishing your career through solid networking. All right, Time to test your vocabulary knowledge using the pause and think method. So this right here is honestly the most important phase of our entire explainer, active recall. Just passively listening to words isn't going to make them yours. You literally have to force your brain to retrieve them. The textbook sets up these amazing context clues that act like little puzzle pieces, basically begging you to snap the correct vocabulary word right into place. Let's actually try the very first one together. Looking at that first question, I want you to pause for a second and think about which of our 12 words fits best. Sometimes it is best to blank, being too nice to strangers. Well, if you thought of the word avoid, you hit the nail right on the head. To keep away from, to keep out of the way of. It fits the syntax and the meaning perfectly. We can actually see this cognitive link in action just a bit further down the page in the matching exercise. It directly connects a word like opt to its exact synonym, choose or favor, which really locks in that mental connection. When you opt for something, you're making a choice. By practicing these direct synonym links, you're literally training your brain to rapidly swap out a basic word like choose for a more elevated word like opt the next time you're speaking or writing. Finally, we've reached our spotlight on the word keg, where we're going to look at a pretty fascinating historical connection. You know, words are essentially living artifacts of human history. And our textbook does this wonderful thing at the end of every lesson by isolating a single word to explore its roots. This short article zeroes in on the origins of word number 8, keg. It essentially asks us, hey, what can you deduce about the trade and customs of early Englishmen just from the fact that this word entered our language from a totally different culture? It is so cool to discover that early Englishmen actually adapted this word from the hardy northern people of Iceland. They took the Icelandic word kagi and turned it into the keg that we use today for small barrels. The text suggests that early trade with those rugged northern lands required goods to be stored in very specific, sturdy containers. And so, the Icelandic word kagi literally sailed across the ocean and evolved into our modern English word keg. In fact, if you check out the book's answer key for lesson 17, the word keg is so visually distinct that it was chosen as the answer for the chapter's illustration quiz. Now, it might seem like a minor detail, but these visual and historical associations act like absolute superglue for your memory. You're no longer just trying to remember a dictionary definition. You're remembering Icelandic sailors and heavy wooden barrels. So the absolute biggest takeaway here is that these aren't just dry definitions on a page. I challenge you, pick one word right now and use it in a real conversation today. Whether you tell a coworker you had a wretched night's sleep, or that you're a bit wary of a new policy, or you simply opt for a different lunch choice, just put it into practice. Language is a muscle, and you've just given yours a fantastic workout. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I want to leave you with this thought. If 12 simple words can alter how you express your reality today, what could mastering the rest of the dictionary do for you tomorrow?